Down in front of me, I can't remember where it was. Is it here? That looks right. Nope, that's not right. And that's literally where that thing is. Where was it? It was like that. This one, I think. Yeah, I think this is the place. Why is there a wave? I guess it connects to the ocean, that's probably why. Okay, let's check this place out. Huh? Okay, maybe we can't check it out. We can't check that yet.
Light it up.
Rest and rebuild.
Okay. Okay, I see. I'm looking at the wrong one. What the? Well, I'm guessing whatever the heck this is, I can't do this yet. Forward the day and see if we get the mission. Hopefully it's not an actual day, because sometimes the game does that to you. Search the Algiers Sea, return to Northern Season Cruise. I never remember that place is. Nice one. That's there. Thank goodness it wasn't actual days. Oh, they're all stood here. Knight, Traveller, Paimon, you're back. You bet we are. Have you found anything new in the meantime? Mr. Caterpillar and I have been doing some research. Oh, and? we've discovered that Seymour doesn't, in fact, have an annihilation mode. The following data fragment sorting. This phrase was found and derived from the novel Prisoner 6 Overran. In that book, the World Organization launched a mass annihilation agent to hunt down a Chimera. To hunt the Chimera down. Wait, that stuff's not important at all. Apart from using our free time to go over and investigate, I've also read through the books and collected here one more time. We couldn't make heads or tails of them at first, and even now, they are certainly well written. I don't know whose handwriting it is, or what scribe copyist was hired, but the penmanship is clear and clearly beautiful. A master calligrapher, if I ever saw one. Wait, are we talking about handwriting? Paimon's got a bad feeling about this. Did you find anything out since last time then? Alright, sorry. I shan't just any further. As you know, we told you that we found... As you know, we told you all that we found last time without holding anything back. However, I fear this time there are clues that are hidden in the details that we must rely chance to reveal. Reveal the meaning, you mean? Indeed. For example, it is further revelations concerning a murder emerge, then the blood on a painting will always remain a red smear. Then what could this chance be, Caterpillar? Well, why don't you do a quick recap of everything we've discovered? Let's make some deductions regarding what happened in the past. That might give us the opportunity to fill in some gaps. They can help us support or refute our views. That's a good idea. I've always felt like there's much to do that's familiar, but I can't recall anything about it. Negative. I can give continuous accounts of resources that have been sorted. Silly dog. Didn't you only recover your creator's name after talking to us about the matter? Negative. I merely matched similar sounds. Said during the interaction, there was no data loss involved. However, I must append that I too find the keyword searches make searching entries more efficient. So, what do we want to discuss? Well, for a bit, let's warm up, or a teaser if you would. You may be referring to a heater. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. So let's get off to our deductions with something simple. What is Miss Marianne's and Annapola's exactly? Huh? That Marianne holding the greatest secret of all. I'm sure you can see that too. Let's get ourselves some armchairs. Maybe we crack open a few beers. Oh wait, you can't drink yet. Anyway, let us help you sort things out. I'll start. Well, the name Marianne itself is familiar to me. The name of the person I want to protect is Marianne, yes. But I have no data regarding the identity of the one who resides on Annapola's. We are missing context. I can only conclude, based on a human's unmodified lifespan, that they are not the same person. That would be the case, huh? It's been a few hundred years after all. Well, as for Paimon, she ate chicken mushroom skewer this morning. Well, I guess it's my turn. You mentioned before that you encountered an oceanic creature that had a great deal of character, one might say personality even. The precondition for such creatures and their character is the same, an intelligent oceaner that already understood the original forms beforehand. So, were you the one who willed these creatures into being, Anne? I don't you think that's kind of weird, you know, summoning familiar friends to a playhouse with you for who knows how long and stuff? Well, I didn't do that. I actually had to get to know pt3 and Al and the others first. Well then, in that case, let's see what we can do some of the things we already know. Then let's begin. Alright. It's already starting. What's this again, is it? The oceanic creatures in Annapolis. The oceanids are sensitive creatures unique to Fontaine. And they can only create oceanic creatures, though. Mimicry and transformation. Unique to Fontaine, huh? I know there's one that's living in Leeway that kicked the crap out of me in the early game. I remember all strange and wonderful oceanic creatures we saw before we met Marianne. The name Marianne. Anne said the name sounded familiar. I should ask her about it. Something should come to mind. To Seymour, she is someone that he must protect. Either way, ordinary humans do not live that long. It's been several hundred years, so they're probably not the same person, right? By my 8 this morning. Chicken mushroom skewer at the risk of a major plot twist is something foreshadowing. I don't think this relates to Marianne's background either. About Anne. Anne is a small oceanic. She didn't create the oceanic creatures in Annapolis. Speaking of, just how do the oceanids reproduce again? Maybe a Sile can create the water creatures. But it's extraordinary to be able to imagine creatures with rich personalities. It's almost certain that there's an oceanid in Annapolis controlling everything. Who can she be? Oh wait, who can she be? It's got to be Miss Marianne, hasn't it? Stop it. The Marianne in Annapolis seems very mysterious. He once suspected that Anne was a character from her dreams. Stop it. This thing is the Amatic Marianne. Marianne is the same name as the Seymour's owner. Seems to know everything. Even if she's not an oceanid, she probably relates to the oceanid behind all this. That's enough for now. That's more than enough of a warm-up. Correct, the oddities of Annapolis do seem to do the power of oceanids. But this is not Miss Anne's doing. All this together means there's another oceanid in Annapolis. That is what I suspect, the oceanid with whom Marianne has a close relationship. Or perhaps she could even be the princess herself. Do you mean to say that Marianne may in fact be Princess Lyris? Yes, Lyris is the Red Empress of the Narcissan Cruise Ordo from back then. The Red Empress who loves to take heads. Take heads? I seem to have a vague recollection of something like that. Whoa. But it's not a story about Lyris. Rather, it's a fairy tale about someone named Marianne. As taking heads is just a metaphor, Lyris made for pure water, and is the ability to dissolve and extract people's wills. The Narcissan Cruise Ordo used her to extract the ego and become holy. Searching for keyword Lyris has yielded relevant information in my indices. Talking of the Red Empress has reminded me of a few things about Marianne. Mull over that for a while, then speak, Miss Anne and Seymour. See if the conclusion you reach awakens any new memories. I shall summarize the entries regarding Lyris I possess for you two. Alright. Omitting standard citation format, reconstructing output to match format. Report to superiors. Lyris is a registered oceanid, and she is not eligible to be stationed in the waters outside of Fontaine, and has become a special source of information for the nation. She was appointed as director of an orphanage to symbolize the love and affection of the previous Hydro-Archon. The orphanage affairs were managed by its human vice director. The orphanage director? Then how is she connected to the Narcissan Cruise Ordo? As director, Lyris was also affectionate towards children and quite devoted to them. but her intelligence among the Oceanids was below average. She wasn't very good at working out the cause and effect of things, or nor could she even count. As a result, she was not qualified to perform covert investigations. That sounds like a big old cat mom who can't count. Yeah, no, because cats can't count. So they get picked up. So they pick up their kittens one by one so they can keep going back until they can't see there aren't any kittens left. Later, the orphanage was destroyed by the calamity, and the official records of her stop there. They say she failed to understand the link between the disaster, the orphans fleeing, her own conduct. So she wanders the ruins, drowning in guilt and expectation. I have an underwater locomotion module that once Marianne and I dove down into the ruins of the orphanage, whose coordinates were the same as those of Annapolis. There we found an Oceanid swimming inside circles. When she next appeared in the record, she was the core member of the Narcissan Cruise Ordo and a subject of a high-priority arrest warrant. Oh, but she didn't seem like a bad person. Considering that she may be connected to Anne, she must have been tricked. Yes, there's another important piece of information worth noting. The orphanage's name was the Narcissan Cruise Institute. The Narcissan Cruise. These are all the can I say that? Mushroom, sorry. Okay, nope. Better say Phantoms on File that Alain Guillotine recorded of testing light sensitivity while designing me. The output via my image and my text-to-speech module. According to eyewitness testimonies regarding I suspect Lyris, there shouldn't... I suspect... According to eyewitness testimonies regarding who I suspect Lyris, there shouldn't be any problems. You have heard, and you may have heard this elsewhere, but it's worth mentioning again. Elan and Marianne were orphans in the care of the Narcissan Cruise Ordo before the Murasoshi Hunter, I can say it now, American Guillotine took them in. Thank you, Seymour. Don't mention it, noble madam. Night Traveler, Paimon. I remember the name Marianne. Oh, do tell? It's familiar to me because it's a children's story, the one that the Elder Empress comes from. The female lead, Liddell, was my mistake for Marianne, the servant, and Marianne never appeared throughout the entire story. Maybe Marianne never really existed except as a fragment of someone's dreams. How do you know this story, Anne? And isn't that a good question? How do I know about it? My memory feels more vivid than those I have of the story of the evil dragon Narcissus. Oh, that's good. Why did I go remember there? Paimon feels like you've changed a lot since the Fortress of Meripede, Caterpillar. Would a 5-year-old child and a 15-year-old teenager be the same? Perhaps returning here has simply reminded me of the past and who I used to be. Time is frozen in the fortress, and being locked up there for a day or 100 years. I'm afraid it made no difference to me. Fine. I want the microphone's been a pain in the ass again. Give me a second, I need to check something. I have the feeling something's opened itself. Where did it go? Which one is it? This one, I think. Try that real quick. No, that sounds worse. But I think the photos have gone completely crazy since the update. And that's always a pain in the ass to sort out. I'm going to change that back because that doesn't seem right. Okay, that should have fixed it back to where it used to be. The microphone's going to go off for a second because I've got to unplug and replug it. Okay, there we go. It's finally found it again. That was just my side where I didn't sound that bad when I was turned it up. Go on. Alright, say come to me, dog. Okay, let's continue this then. Time is frozen in the fortress, being locked up there for a day or 100 years. I'm afraid it didn't make a difference to me. The Nora is what made the time flow for me. Watching her grow reminded me of the time still passes. And life's still being born. Shining brilliantly and then being extinguished. And so I changed as well. I said my past self, the person that I was before I met her, would certainly be more helpful to Anne and Seymour than our current situation. That's true. Don't be like that, Paimon. Just think about it. Making up stories for Lenore was nothing more than putting such ways of thinking to good use. Regardless, it has nothing to do with the current situation. You look like you still have questions, Traveller. Well, since you have your own suspicions about Anne and Larissa's relationship, we have topics of discussion that can be used to refute and sustain conjectures. How do oceanids reproduce? I'm sure you have more friends with more knowledge than I am regarding that. Perhaps you can even find scholars of I can have that word. I'm not going to say it. Philosophically, who are dedicated in the research of that question. Or you could ask the Oceanids, personally. But if you ask me, of course I know what you mean. So, this is your speculation, I see. Paimon doesn't get it. When we exchanged information earlier, the traveler mentioned that Anne is the person in Mary Ann's dream. Perhaps she might be a manifestation made by Mary Ann, an Oceanid's Oceanid. An Oceanid's Oceanid? Why the repetition? Or are you trying to make it sound cuter? Apologies. Perhaps the description it was ill done, but can still an Oceanid create an Oceanid creature version of an Oceanid? Wow, that's deep, like asking can candies... How hard candies can be used as the filler for another hard candy? So would you say that this is the question that's really interesting? But Paimon's already hungry for answers. I suppose I have to say it. Still, you may not realize how deep the rabbit hole goes, so let me explain. Do tell. You might be confused to why there are oceanic creatures with personalities in Anaplease. If the Oceanid can create Oceanid creatures, then why did they create Oceanid humans or Oceanid Oceanids? Convention dictates that it's rare for Oceanids to be able to mimic humans. Unless the human drowns in their arms, or the Oceanid has spent extensive time with the person and knows everything about them. And the Oceanid in question must have tremendous wisdom and compassion. I'm afraid perhaps the only one as powerful as Rodier couldn't do it. Wow, so that means Adir must have been incredibly strong. So it's rare to mimic humans, but not impossible. Now creating another Oceanid, that's different. Creating humans is using human knowledge can only be achieved by gods. And the same applies to the Oceanids creating Oceanids. It usually should be impossible, in this world at least. Unless this human or Oceanid has already placed themselves above their own kind, and attempted such insanity. You mean they thought they had become a god? That's right. Followers blindly believed their leaders, who turned blindly believe in themselves, giving rise to delirium and delusions. I can do what a god can do. Their deeds are not that great after all. A powerful belief is also a powerful will, and magic is a skill that molds reality of your will. Perhaps the descendants of the hypothesis makes more sense. Perhaps Mary Ann doesn't consider herself to be an Oceanid type. Perhaps it is possible, quite understandable so. If nothing else, the Luris I know doesn't have that kind of intelligence, or she would she be this crazy? I have some less mainstream ideas about Oceanid's reproduction, but they're not important, and we can discuss them later. Let's reorganize our information that everyone's recalled. This might take quite some time, and might be somewhat hard on our throats. I'm ready. So regarding Elaine's younger sister Mary Ann and the Anaplease of Mary Ann and the Red Empress's Luris and the Anne who is with us, what will our conclusion be? How will we sustain it and how will we refute it? Everyone gathers. Is there anything else you feel we should add? As mentioned before, Mary Ann is not the princess in Anne's story, but she's also the person I must protect. She is the younger sister of Elaine Guillotin, and the one who designed me, for ACV07. As for matters concerning me, I suppose you already know all about them, Knight. Traveler, got that off in my head. Speaking of which, didn't we also hear lots of stuff while we were in LAS? Seymour was also damaged during that time. How did it go? Did you think of anything? About the damage to Seymour in LAS. That's right, Seymour was damaged inside LAS, and Mimir's been taking care of him. To my shame, yes. Though I have no such emotions, you can see me as having lowered my assessment of myself. So according to Linnaeus, The battle occurred within his body, ended quite terribly. Evidently that was the battle that damaged you. And that was an incredibly fierce one, but considering that you were damaged, your master might have been. Common sense dictates that the fate of Marianne Guillotine, sister of Alain Guillotine, was most likely a grim one. But this world's full of tales of royal knights who exchanged their lives for a miracle, so you needn't grieve too much, Seymour. Seymour appears to have entered data fragment, resulting in her out of pure shock. But your master Marianne was an ordinary human being, wasn't she? And the time that has passed since then was far surpasses the lifespan of any human. How did it go? Did you think of anything? The Red Empress Luris. She was an important figure in the Narcissus Order. She was also another Oceanian involved in the tale, apart from Miss Anne. Only of the two Oceanids we have just agreed. We believe there must be an Oceanid behind Annapolis. But her traits don't match those of Marianne we encountered. Could it be that Luris's imagination was behind everything? Even me? That's unlikely. Seymour mentioned that her intelligence was quite limited, so phantoms of this sort would be quite hard for her. Similar to how an author would struggle to write characters more intelligent than themselves. In fairy tales, the kitten may be the In fairy tales, the kitten may dream of living. Okay, try this again. In fairy tales, the kitten may dream of the living little master. But I fear such things don't happen much in real life. So who's behind all this? Who in the world is that Marianne? How did it go? Do you think of anything? Oceanid Anne. Huh? What about me again? We once suspected you might be the person that Marianne dreamed of. So in your view, Marianne is an Oceanid behind the curtain, yes? I don't know. Well then, do you find the name Luris familiar? She is, after all, the only Oceanid that is involved in this apart from yourself. You mean the title of Red Empress? Then yes, I do have some impression of it. The Marianne in Annapolis. That makes her our prime suspect then. To be honest, when you were using the process of elimination, you actually guessed as much long ago. I didn't want to disrespect Anne, though. You're right. But you do already have a version of the story in your heart. Your own interpretation, yes? In that case, we should go and find that Marianne and see for ourselves. Please permit me to change the topic for a moment. Does this mean that I will no longer be able to fill my order to protect Marianne? We've worked out this much, and that may be the only bit you care about. It may be cruel for the moment we discovered the Guillotine's siblings from centuries ago, so it was probably inevitable. Correction. The conclusion would be that it was incomplete. That exposed Marianne. It was my incompetence that exposed Marianne to danger. Do not blame yourself. You have fought to the point of destruction. You have done your part. Give me a second. There's no need to be so pessimistic either. Though that is an odd thing to say to a machine. Yeah, it's no point thundering to a sink and saying, "Sink, you'll get fat if you keep drinking like this." Oh, for ACV07. I can't believe you remembered that. What is it, Mr. Caterpillar? Why use my official designation? We may not have reached any conclusions, but we now know what to do next. But there is a Marianne in Nanoplios too, so she has close links to the Narcissus Cruise Ordo. My long-term memory module confirms this. As such, there's no need to restore your logic module to factory settings yet. Let's take a step back. We can still go and find this Marianne. Thank you for your logical troubleshooting and emotional adaptive maintenance. I think what you said makes sense. It is not time yet for me to admit defeat and restore myself to my initial settings in order to take on a new mission. Yeah, that's right, you silly doggy. Let's leave this here for a while then. Once you are ready, we can continue. Why don't we go find this Marianne? Let's solve this mystery before tackling the Narcissus Cruise Ordo issue. I concur. I'd really like to figure that out too. After all, it might explain where I come from. My module agrees. This is the correct course of action. So, shall we go then? And there goes the controller walking by itself again. Don't know why he's doing this. I've changed its dead zone like multiple times. Where's the way out of here? Yeah, that's echoing. I'll turn that down a bit because I was just checking the thing. Read. Ah, that's why I couldn't find the way out. There's a warp. And what's this one? Is this one over here? Yeah. Oh, but no, it's not what I did. We've gone up too far. It's inside the tower, isn't it? I can make it up there. Something more lift. Can't just walk there now, maybe? Doesn't look like it. Got to restart that mission, I think. Go find Marianne. Oh, I guess it's outside here. That's why it's not triggering. We're back again. This time, I must. Marianne. That's the spirit, Miss Anne. In truth, I must confess to being somewhat jealous of you. You ought to hope recovering your past. I've been searching for centuries, but I haven't found a thing. So please, do your best for this old caterpillar's as part, or do your best for this old caterpillar's part as well, alright? Figure out your past and come to accept your present self. Yep, I will. Surprised it didn't trigger as I came through here. Guess I glided over it. Oh, that made me worried for a second. What are these guys doing back here again? Wait, isn't that Al's group? Oh, yes, it is us. And you are Night Traveler and Paimon. It is really good to see you. So good I can't control myself anymore. Please dodge to the best of your ability. She asked us to send you a message. Now let us take out a handwritten letter with my hands, which are much more like your yellow and white. Ahem. I don't want to hear your stories. I prefer my version. Oh, so you're gonna make a space sense.
Wrath from the sky!
Yeah, that bubble was here before, has gone too. Well, it was Princess Laris's magic. It's just how the story goes. Let me think of a way. Close your eyes, everyone. A temporary optical sensor shutting down, understood. Will be reactivated on your command. Wait, why do we have to do that? The essence of the mime is pretense, a charade, something that is still here. And the belief at the heart of magic is the faith, meaning it's here. Let's close our eyes. So Anne, begin imagining what it would look like if there was still a bubble here. You close your eyes and you feel some fluctuation. I prefer the story of Narcissus and Crew's adventure team sitting down happily for a tea time after adventure has ended. Wow, it really appeared. In the order of this step is the process of imagining something in such detail. Imagining. Let's go over and have a look. Yes, the entrance disappeared this time. And you know how to make the portal? Can you do your imagining thing on it? Alright, let me give it a try. You close your eyes and the lonesome silence comes over you. But everyone's left. They won't come back, no matter how long I wait. I can't, it seems. Wait, why? How are we supposed to see Marianne then? I suspect that's because the portal's lost its meaning and thus cannot be recreated. From what you told me before, the entrance was once placed here led to the story that had yet to be written. Now that she said everything she wanted, the story no longer has a meaning. Marianne is rejecting our answer, and that is why the way has been shut. Does this mean we're going to return empty-handed? It does seem so. I wouldn't say we're completely out of luck. Did you notice something we did at Night Traveler? I heard something while Em was imagining. I did hear something then, so you can hear it too. Would that be Marianne's real thoughts? What did you two hear? Might not be best to discuss personal secrets here. The walls have ears and all. Let's head back down before we're talking about this. Everyone returns to the Narcissus and Crew's order. We can just go down and talk about it. So, could you tell us what you heard? Perhaps a hilly chum might hear something that humans and Oceanians will not. Just how dogs and humans differ in that regard. I must correct your statement. My auditory components do indeed pick up higher and lower frequencies compared to humans. However, I am not a dog. Moreover, dogs' low frequencies of hearing is similar to that of humans. Is that so? Well, I was talking about real dogs, not you for ACV07. Haha, silly dog. That said, I didn't think you would hear it too, Night Traveler. I wonder if we heard the same thing. But everyone's left. They won't come back no matter how long I wait. Looks like we heard the same thing. I suspect that this was the inner voice of Marianne. Did she say anything else? I'm not trying to invade anyone's privacy or anything. I just think that we're onto something here with you mentioning these words, Traveller. Let me think. After I heard that something like, I prefer my own story of the Narcissan Crew's adventure team sitting down happily for tea time after their adventure has ended. And then, I don't want to hear your stories, I prefer my own version. Have you noticed something off about this, Traveller? Please state your case. Let's think on our own thoughts first. Perhaps they really might come to some conclusion. I'm sorry, I may be unable to offer any logical support at this time. My learning equipment cannot hear inner voices. Don't worry, you've helped plenty already. Could you tell me your assessment of Miss Marianne of Anna, please? The person I am meant to protect or not? I think she is. I am willing to believe your judgment, if that means I have to update my data. According to my records, Marianne Gertie never exhibit behavior waiting for others to come back after Narcissan Crew's audio was destroyed. That means she must have returned to the ruins after being adopted and living there for a while. But there is no possible time frame which meets those requirements. Logical error, data fragment, sorting initiated. Night Traveller, is there anything else you want to say? I'm just an Oceanid who doesn't know anything, and I'm really bad at thinking. Even if you told me a random story, I'd still believe it, hook, line, and sinker. The world is too complicated after all, and I'm just not experienced enough to spot any holes. I wouldn't do that. Thank you, Night Traveller. I think that Marianne of Annaples is the same as me. She might look smart, but she doesn't want to accept the complicated world. So she chooses to protect herself with her fairy tales. But even fairy tales must end. You don't seem to want to link the two of them together. Neither elimination nor enumeration is very fair to Anne. What a coincidence, I happen to agree. But I have some other thoughts to share too. They have nothing to do with the next step of our reasoning. Are you willing to listen? I'm listening. Easier if we broach the topic of the Oceanid reproduction. It's a huge taboo for Oceanids to mimic or transform into one of their own kind, just as it is for humans to create humans. But you see, humans can create humans through love. Go pursue eternity, not through mystery, but love. What if by chance this mysterious method of the Oceanid reproduction is accomplished through imaginary and mimicry? Perhaps their regret and remorse gives birth to their thought, and they imagine the path that they could have taken. A new Oceanid is born. That's a very interesting idea. We'll never know after all, it's a secret passed down amongst the Oceanids only. In any case, we'll begin when you're ready. Let's begin. Then let's begin. Okay, that one then. The one that Seymour was supposed to protect. Something happened in Elias, resulting in Seymour's damage and her disappearance. Where is she? What is her relationship with Marianne? Can you remind me? Controller's really trying to fight me to go over there. Member of an artistic increased order from several hundred years ago. Her whereabouts afterward are unknown. She is also the only Oceanid involved other than Anne. Stop, you pain in the ass. Oh my lord. One. Marianne, who wove fairy tales without an ending. She refused our visit, but she did mention her memories from the Narcissan Crew's Institute. It sounded like she was waiting for everyone to return into the Institute ruins. I don't know why I can't get this out of my mind. This really can't be foreshadowing, can it? The only person in the group in the Nazi Secret Institute with the matching background is Marianne Guillotine. Marianne Guillotine's memories. Marianne and Guillotine's memories. Let me. The person who once waited in the deserted ruins for everyone to return to Lyrith was the former director. The heck was that? And the dog just ran head first into the radiator. Just give me a second. Chasing a spider, apparently. The director Lyrith's memories. Marianne has Lyrith's memories. Wait, what am I doing? Remember, she's the Red Empress. If I can get across the... Oh my lord. The Marianne and Lyrith is so that the Marianne and Lyrith is another piece of evidence that we have to use the ocean and powers of Anubis. Please, let me click. Who is Marianne? Marianne is that younger sister. If so, then Marianne is the Marianne Guillotine, have the same name and matching memories. Apparently not. Let me goddamn move. This thing is a pain in the ass, dude. Why is it doing this? Please let me click. Cancel association. Please stop it. The identities are contradictory. Yep. Like my controller being contradictory with me. But how can she be both people at the same time? Lyrith's abilities. This must mean that Lyrith is, as an Oceanid, has special powers. Dissolving the personality and will. If my job at the Order was to dissolve the members' egos, what could have happened between her and the missing Marianne Guillotine? For some reason, Lyrith dissolved into Marianne Guillotine's personality, and afterward the wills mixed together began to dream. They dreamed of a simpler world where a princess is saved and an evil dragon gets killed, while the heroes were always pressing onwards. They dreamed of a world where everything was simple and had an answer. As long as Anne was there, this Anne and Marianne was born. Just click that. We've put the pieces together. And we've put the pieces of the case that were floating all over the Agile Sea back together. It's just an empty box, but even after it's been put together, we finally figured it out. What a lost pearl should look like. What are you trying to say, Caterpillar? Wait, don't give Pamela any hints. She's going to figure this one out on her own. We've pieced together a good guess of the clues, but the truth is still unproven. Of course, my speak module has determined that Miss Paimon is correct. Actually, I meant that we may never know the truth, but I'm afraid that we have no choice but to accept the conjecture. So, Night Traveler, is this the secret of my birth? I'm afraid I can't accept something like this right away. I understand, Miss Anne. It's a shocking fact, and it will require you to accept yourself again. But I don't think it should be difficult to do so. After all, knowing your past does not require abandoning everything about the present. I don't understand the specific context of this discussion, but I would like to add that I do not believe that I am different from how I was before the disc damage. Even though you insist on addressing me as Silly Dog, my identification number is still 4ACV07. Come on, it's not that serious. I promised Night Traveler that I would accept the conclusion, as long as it's reasonable. Then I have a suggestion. One that will resolve Miss Anne's quandary and put a stop to the Narcissus Cruise plans. Narcissus Cruise. Narcissus. Oh, Paimon remembers now. You mentioned them before, Paimon. Traveler. Try that again. Narcissus. Oh, Paimon remembers now. You mentioned him before, Caterpillar. Just who is he, huh? Well, simply put, he is the leader of the Narcissus Cruise Order. Whoa, that sounds like an impressive resume. But isn't Narcissus Cruise Order always up to no good? Wouldn't that make him the nastiest of the lot? Of course, during my time with my master creator, the other Mirasashi hunters were most devoted of our time of hunting down the Order down. As said before, the goal of Elena's operation was to capture or eliminate Narcissus Cruise, as well as, however, to eliminate the Narcissus Cruise as well. However, my memory does not contain any intelligence regarding his involvement. That's a given. Looking back at it now, he was merely choosing us as bait. And I wasn't the only one. It was the same for Jacob, Lyris, and many others in the Order. I'm afraid the Annihilus operation was probably never more than a red herring of the goal of leading you and Guillotin away to buy him more time to execute his true plans. Remember the doomsday clock I mentioned? It's what the Order considers the countdown to the apocalypse, right? To be more precise, it's an apocalypse To be more precise, it's the apocalypse calculated by the word formula. This planet itself should survive fine and low. The beast of the stars shall drink the amniotic fluid at the world dry. 100 years more, and all the surface life shall be wiped away. Once the life on the surface is wiped away, only that which is underwater will remain. Can a planet full of fish eventually rise up to the ocean of stars? The thought is that terrestrial life going extinct is pretty spooky. But when you say things like that, it does give things a romantic ring. It's the heading of the Yai Publishing House novel from a few years back. Mimir brought it to the village to learn how to paint. Oh, no wonder. Anyways, for myself and the others gathered here, though the Narcissus Cruise Order is a source of our troubles, the objective of the Narcissus Cruise Grade is a great purpose. It's actually completely selfless. He only took the actions he did because he calculated the coming of the apocalypse. He wishes to save the world. So this world is really on the verge of destruction? I believe this is a pathological delusion caused by paranoia. The apocalypse was real. Were the apocalypse real, would you be able to forgive the Narcissus Cruise? It's a bit too early to consider such things. You have to understand what happened to you, Anne. And as for you, Seymour, your hostility towards your programming and duties it imposes. I suppose we must first find the Holy Blade of Narcissus Cruise. The Holy Blade of Narcissus Cruise. I'm talking about the real one, of course. As much as it may be quite a strange thing to say, that the ceremonial sort of magic society is real. Not only will it help us stop the Narcissist's plans, its unique powers may be able to undo the merging of wills. We should be able to separate Luris and Marianne, and then, Marianne, you can defeat the evil dragon Narcissus and rescue Princess Luris. Regardless, let's get moving first. That's the spirit. It might take some time to explain, so let's move to the first, and I'll explain when we get there. Oh, goody.
Light it up! Yeah. Yeah.
No riff hounds allowed. Go away.
Yeah.
Access denied.